Hello again, I'm Audio. We are in the Bright House. Let me skip that because it just hangs up all the time. Or maybe it's just slow, I don't know. Anyway, what I wanted to say at like the end of the last part, but I'm saying in this part, my weird YouTube suspension bullshit is over, so I want to play through Kamidori Alchemy Meister again. I may very well upload the dungeons because it would be fresh in my mind and it would be good. I stopped doing that because they were all over 15 minutes, and I couldn't upload beyond 15 minutes because YouTube's a fuck. So, it's fixed now. You don't have to worry your little hearts about this any longer. There, I only took 30 seconds of this part to mention that, so I guess that's good enough. Carol reveals that her predecessor got murdered. Carol has a history in the game. I don't actually know if they're related. Now that I think about it, they might be. I doubt it though. Anyway, Carol is relevant all the time in like all these parts. People like Dorothy Newman and Hannah Rock and Ku Roche, they are meaningful in most routes, but you know. Oh, you can obtain them all as admirals too, even if that's fairly obvious though, so. I don't remember what Dorothy does. Hannah is a good carrier admiral. I think Ku sucked. I think Ku was a bad admiral. I don't remember though. I only ever got Ku once. Actually, all the Gamerican girls I think I just got once, except Carol, because they're not easy to obtain in most of the routes that I like. So, you know. Of course, I mean, it's an Eroge, so it's not necessarily hard, but I just have to go out of my way too much and I don't feel like doing it usually. That's how that goes. But yeah, I mentioned how unpleasant Hannah is to look at, right? I think that I did. Ugh. And anyway, they're just talking more about war bonds and making money from war. I'm pretty sure. I'll skim it here a little bit. A little bit of sexism, that's fine. Let's see. But yeah, Carol is less... Basically, it's showing that she is a part of the Green Grass Society, but she's kind of... not, because she doesn't know all the shit that they know, because they mention also, it's explained, so you would know if you read it, but they mention that their predecessors explain the going-ons to them, because they're a secret society, they don't keep written documents, you know, you've heard about that in real life, I'm sure. Fucking... whatever. I'm not gonna go on some Illuminati rant right now, but you get the idea behind secret societies. So she's out of the loop, she doesn't know as much, she's an outsider compared to them, she has different opinions compared to them, she's like the wild card compared to the other three girls in the community. That's all that she is. And that's why she's like your gateway for most of the story stuff with Gamerica. You're supposed to like her the most. You're actually probably... I don't like Hannah, I don't think Ku is important, and Dorothy seems to, you know, like, I want to say arrogant? I don't know. I don't usually throw the word arrogant around to describe characters because I don't see it as arrogant. Usually I see it as having a really high opinion of oneself and being very confident. A problem probably coming from my own arrogance, right? So, there you go. Actually, I think that's the only way I've never described a character in a fucking video that I've uploaded is arrogant. Have I? I don't think I have. So... that's cool, but Dorothy gives that vibe to me. Though her design is cool, I don't even remember what she does as an admiral. She has some weird story elements though. We'll go into those way later down the line. And, you know, ultimately most of those green grass girls are really boring to me, so I don't have that much to say about them. Even if they have a good history or background, I just don't care about them, so I didn't look it up. And that is me being completely honest. So, you know, do with that what you will. I guess you get this when you start moving into their colonies, so... I'll let it go for a second, maybe. Maybe I'll let it go, I don't know. Sorry, I'm reading this to see what's going on. No, I'll skip it. Anyway, Ares basically talks about how they hate fansism, and they need to snuff it out, and they did that pretty harshly to fascism in real life. I don't remember the details. I'll look it up. Yeah, that weird FPS when those gates close. You know what I'm talking about? I know you do. Imperial Palace Conference Hall. Oh, I'll let this one go. This is good. Yeah. Again, though, I mean, did I do anything in the last part? I didn't attack anywhere. I think I defended in this part, so last part was all dialogue. This part's going to be mostly dialogue, except for that defense, which was a scout fleet, which took 1 second. So, this playthrough is going to be for about 5 people. There's not much going on. You know, I actually thought about it too. When I started doing this playthrough, I was like, God, there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of me skipping dialogue. There's going to be hardly any battles. Maybe I should just do planet by planet, you know, and give a walkthrough of each planet. And then I realized, no, some of the planets take a second. It's pointless to do that. But, you know, ultimately I just figured I'd go through a playthrough because that's what I like the most, and I can talk the most this way. So, whatever. Maybe I'll do a planet-to-planet playthrough at some other time, just to simplify things, to make it easier for people to get through the game. But, I don't know. I gotta be in a mood to do that. Shit, I'd have to edit stuff. Oh, God. But, what's going on now is just a Triple Alliance. You know, World War II, Axis and Allies. Axis, Japan, Italy, Germany, Allies, Russia, America, Great Britain. You know, and there were a whole bunch of other lesser nations involved in each side. But, actually, I don't know how many lesser nations were involved in the Axis. Huh. Whatever. A lot of them were forced to be, you know. Countries that Germany took over, they forced people to fight for them. So, that's how that goes. Basically, though, they ask you in this scene, do you want to be part of the Triple Alliance with Dokutsu and Itarin? And if you say no, you get absolutely nothing, and it locks you out of a bunch of cool shit. So you always say yes. Literally, there is no downside to saying yes. At all. You only want to say yes to this. So, to be clear, I don't even think it changes routes. Like, if you say no, you know, like, it doesn't open another route. I'm almost positive. It just is. So always say yes. Okay. After this happens, you can start to use Ugaki as an admiral. I won't. He's pretty shitty. And because of his passive, you want to usually leave him at home anyway. It's diplomacy, or frontline diplomacy or something like that. And it makes it so the star system he's stationed in is less likely to be attacked. So naturally you want to leave him next to wherever you're holding the line. Later on, Japan, the capital star system of Japan, I don't know what the fuck it's called, will be bordering the UHOS and Gamerica, I think. So I will just leave him there. I'll usually move him around borders connected to Gamerica, because, like I said before, I'm gonna fight with Gamerica probably the least. But, I mean, that depends on some other things, so we'll see. It actually depends on quite a few things. A certain barbarian lord that can spawn randomly. Oh, I said barbarian lord, but they could both be seen as that. Okay, a Viking girl and a Gahaha Viking. They're both different. They both fuck with you and disrupt what you're doing pretty severely if you're not aware of how they're triggered. But we'll get to that when the time comes. As well, I don't really have that much more to say here. But I guess I'll just move along. I'll just skip a little bit. Anyway, they're just talking about deliberations. You agree to the Triple Alliance. It gives you so many good things. It gives you donuts. If you don't accept this, you don't get her. It gives you tech or economy bonuses. I don't know which. Maybe even both. You know. So you just do this all the time. Another conference? Oh, the revolts. Yeah, again, this isn't particularly important. You just need to, I mean, the revolts are like Oh god, I guess there haven't been any in the playthrough yet, so the revolt would be the first example of it. There are things, let me let this go while I explain it, that fuck with what you're doing. That was descriptive, wasn't it? Like, you get space monsters that attack planets. Those are a pain in the ass to defend against. You get disasters. Those are more manageable. And lastly, you get rebels, and rebels are very easy to defend against. If you leave that stuff unchecked, it messes with the, Oh, and everyone's like, what's he gonna pick? Everyone who's played through the game is like, what's he gonna pick, dude? What route's he gonna do? Oh, Japanization plan. Someone called it in like the second part. Whatever. I'm not mad. It's the route I have the most experience with, and all things considered, it's a Japanese... Sorry, misspoke. All the other routes are mostly Japanese. This one's mostly translated. All the Ultimate Idol routes, I think, are fucked. You can't do those because they're so Japanese. The Monster Girl one is the same way. I think he might have done one of the Ultimate Idol routes. Or most of it. I'd have to look that up again. I might be mixing up words. In any case, I'm going for this one. I think there are 2 routes tied to the Japanization plan. Or endings, I should say, because the game has like 9 or 10 endings. Or they might even be listed as routes, but they mostly come down to just an ending change. So, because of that, I forgot this was the part where I do that, so I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, rebels. If you don't handle a territory, it goes into rebellion and it just gets fucked up. And I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, really, at the end of the day. But I don't remember. Also, if you go Japanization route, it's way easier to maintain public order. So it's a good first, like, is it your first time playing the game? Might want to go Japanization route. Just saying. And because I did so much shit last turn, all this is coming out. Japanization plan, I got new technologies from that girl. I got the Triple Alliance, so tons of notifications here. That's fine though. Strategy phase, and now I will go to the science UI thing. Oh, and it says that I have M pollen in some place. I don't remember what M pollen is in particular, but different star systems have different effects. Some of them will have like increased attack power for female admirals. Some of them won't even allow you to use female admirals. Same with male on both accounts, I believe. And then like UHOS has super cold, and the African region has sandstorm, stuff like that. So yeah, research and development. I always go for these first, the big ships, both the missile and the laser one. And then these are really good too. The CLRDR. Ooh, I don't know what that is. These are probably, like I said in another part, all references to real ships. I have no idea. Except the obvious shit, like destroyers and subs, and you know, I guess these are battleships. These are probably cruisers. Okay, maybe I know a little more than I thought I did. Anyway, that went through a ton of technology to get the big ships, and later on in the game you will realize that's one of your biggest problems if you didn't prepare for it, is your technology. You'll just be burning through technology to get all these good ships, but even better ships will constantly show up and you'll be like, what the fuck? How do I get all those? Well, I remember a handful of ways to do it. Oh, also, let me show you this. The AM2, well, that's what I call the ship, just because it's one of the only ships that has missile damage reduction. Anyway, the AM2 bonus is missile damage reduction. There's one for laser. I don't think there's one for cannons. There's one for fighters, maybe? I don't actually know. Anyway, you want to get those. I'm almost positive there's one for fighters. Those are really important. You want to get those, maybe not right away, because, you know, missile damage immunity isn't useful at the beginning of the game. But later on in the game, when you need the missile immunity, when you need the laser immunity, and you don't have it, you're pretty much fucked. So you got to sit there and wait for like 10-15 turns to get the technology to get those things. You don't want to do that. So I'll see you in the next part.